How are you getting on, folks? Look at it was a fairly decent day today. I hope some of you were on. In particular, the likes of Rebel Gold, who came in at third at 50-1. Felix Deji, the next best of the day, came in at 13-8. Holy Macaponi, very, very impressive, 7-2 winner. Then over in Cheltenham, then Duffel Coat at 5-2. And Ishgara Lady at 11-2. I suppose unlucky to be called in a dead heat. But look, at tomorrow again looks to be a fairly decent day. Some, I suppose, bit of value there. It's not as, I suppose, value intensified as it was there today, but there is, I suppose, still some nice horses there running at each way prices. But first of all, the first race in Punchestown, we're going to go at the 12:05. We're going to go at Fairly Legal here for the Robert Tyner team. Currently trading around 12-1. At the end of the day, it looks like this particular horse is on a fairly lenient mark. It was a very good fourth last time out. Doesn't really look to be, I suppose, under the watchful eye of the handicapper yet. I think possibly it just could be, I suppose, ahead of its mark really at the end of, or the way it's, I suppose, turning out. Obviously, look at it is, I suppose, coming up against a fairly decent field, and I suppose it is a very competitive race, but I just think this Fairly Legal here at 12-1, it just looks like it could be worth a little bit of value there each way. I wouldn't be going too mad, but I think overall the best, I suppose, horse for value there on the day is Fairly Legal at that sort of a price. Next race then, the 12:35, we are going to go to the latest exhibition for the next best of the day, currently trading around 4-6. I know, look at it, it's an odds-on horse, but really and truly, this horse definitely does look to be the one to be on tomorrow. I wouldn't say it was very impressive the last time out, but you have to, I suppose, allow for potential improvement and allow for a few, I suppose, cock-ups really, in terms of, I suppose, first time over fences. The ground shouldn't really be too much of an issue. In all honesty, it really should be going into his favour now tomorrow. I don't think there is anything in here that's really going to, I suppose, trouble him tomorrow. I think any sort of, I suppose, improvement should be able to see this horse run off a fairly, I suppose, comfortable victory now tomorrow, and hopefully look at it'll back up the odds on, I suppose, price tag with a fairly comfortable win tomorrow. Next race then, the 105. We're going straight from the next best to the nap of the day. Ellie May, 2-1. This horse here is of serious value. I was actually there today in Thurles when I suppose it was joined by, I think it was Real Steel, if I'm not mistaken. It was one of those, I suppose, the same ownership really, for Willie Mullins, but it was joined and it was passed coming around the final bend, but it just picked up and kicked on clear, and I suppose made the race look like absolute child's play really at the end of the day. And that was, I suppose, a grade 2. It's not really meeting anything of, I suppose, that standard, you could say. I definitely think it should be able to polish these off fairly comfortably. I wouldn't say it's going to meet too much trouble in running. Generally a fairly consistent mare, jumping fences, and she should be well able to handle the ground. I definitely think 2-1 is nap-worthy material, and it's absolutely incredible value for money. Next race then, we're not going to be having a bet. Fury Road is going to win this hands down, as it should at 1-4 on, but yeah, to even suggest anything that's going to beat it in that sort of ground tomorrow is, it's not just hard, but it's impossible. Like, you can't, I suppose, argue the fact for Duke Cup, simply because Duke Cup does tend to, I suppose, want a little bit more bounce on the ground. doesn't really perform as well as it does in the likes of good to yield and good to soft. In soft to heavy, it's a waste of time, I think. But really, at the end of the day, Fury Road, if it's anything about the hype that's, I suppose, been talked about, it should be able to run out a fairly comfortable winner here. Like I said, I'm not going to be having a bet. You'd have to be mad to even consider having a bet on it 1-4 tomorrow. Next race then, Abacadabra 2-1. This one here is coming from for serious money. It's coming up against San Ra. Look, it was very impressive at the Cheltenham Festival, very impressive in Tipperary, but I don't know. There's just something about it that I'm just not totally convinced. I know that probably does sound strange considering I'm going for Abacadabra, but I don't know. I think really the softer the ground, it's going to favour more Abacadabra simply because of all you have to do really is just look at the way it kicked clear in the Dublin Racing Festival there at Christmas time. It just absolutely picked up, kicked clear in soft ground and made racing look like child's play. That's the best way I can describe it. 2-1, it is definitely the better value. I know, look, it's hard to look past San Ra, but look at there's something in my head tomorrow that's saying that Abacadabra is going to absolutely work wonders, and I don't know. I could be totally wrong, but I'm going to have a go, and I'm going to say Abacadabra is going to win tomorrow 2-1. Next race of the day, then we are going to go straight for an each way shout here now. Getaway Pat for Philip Reynolds, Henry de Bromhead, and Rachel Blackmore tomorrow, currently trading around 9-1. This one here looks very, very interesting. It was a fairly comfortable winner in a pint to pint. It's on its only run actually. Last time out, obviously it was bought by Philip Reynolds then and is trained with Henry de Bromhead. Like I suppose, Holy Macapony there today. It's clear to see that Henry is well able to, I suppose, bring on these pint-pointers. I'd have no, I suppose, worry about this Getaway Pat running a fairly consistent enough race tomorrow. I definitely think it's going to be hard to, I suppose, suggest it's going to win. It should be able to get into the places, but either way, I think 9-1 is definitely the value horse of the day. I think you're going to get a run, a definite great run for your money, and at an each way price, 9-1 definitely looks to be very, very good value. Next race then we are going to go with, what are we going with actually? We're going to go with Charlie Siringo for the Noel Mead team. Sean Flanagan on board, currently trading around 5-1. This one here is going to be an each way bet now tomorrow. Look at the one thing that's, I suppose, catching my eye with this race is, I suppose, it's a trappy enough looking affair. There's an awful lot of these you could make cases for. I suppose even going down to the very bottom of the market, you could make a case for a couple of these. There's some, I suppose, decent sorts here if on form, but I suppose, look, they are slightly out of form, so it's hard to have any trust in them. But this Charlie Siringo was very, very good last time out, coming from the Noel Mead team. It goes without saying, Noel Mead is in absolutely serious form. I don't need to tell you that. All you have to do is just look up the stats. Sean Flanagan on board, another man in serious form. I can honestly say that this particular horse should well be able to put up a serious challenge tomorrow, and it should be able to run out, I wouldn't say a comfortable winner, but it should be able to take the race by the scruff of the neck. I think 5-1 is great value, but the fact that it is at an each way price, I definitely would be backing it each way. Finally then, last race of the day in Punchestown, we're going to go with Hollow Games at 4-6 for Gordon Elliott, Jamie Codd. This one here looks definitely very, very interesting. It was a winner of his pint to pint, fairly comfortably. Soft to heavy ground. It's going to be meeting the same conditions tomorrow. Bought for 225,000. I think that says it all, really. We don't know what this horse is going to take to, I suppose, Punchestown tomorrow, but I definitely think it's got a very, very decent shout. And look at you, you'd expected it 4-6. Um, but if there's any horse to beat this tomorrow, I would absolutely eat my hat. I cannot see it, and the fact that the owners have paid 225,000 for this horse, like, they must either think very highly of it, or else they just have more money than sense. Um, just to put it completely bluntly, at the end of the day, I really think that it has a favourite's chance. It should be able to run out a fairly comfortable winner, and overall, it's definitely the standout horse of the meeting. I'd even say it's the standout horse of the meeting. Overall potential, the fact that it's costing nearly 250,000 says it all. Finally, then, we are going to go, I suppose, give a quick run through Cheltenham. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but we will, I suppose, give out a few horses for Cheltenham tomorrow. First horse of the day, 115, the big breakaway. Currently trading around 10-11. Looks to be the best value of the day. This Soldier of Love or Soldier of Fortune, the Paul Nichols, I suppose, horse, definitely does look very interesting, but the fact the big breakaway has form with the likes of En Violin, who quite possibly is the best horse in training at present time. I can't see this horse being beaten. I don't know if there's anything that's going to come out of the clouds tomorrow, but really, the fact of the matter is, the big breakaway does set a huge standard and sets the bar very, very high tomorrow. Next race then, 150, Disco Rama for Paul Nolan. Paul was very unlucky there today with Mrs. Milner. Just, I suppose, nabbed, I suppose, or not nabbed, but just didn't get up in the shadow of the line. Disco Rama is, look at, it's a very consistent horse, but it's equally frustrating at the same time. Often in the places, but very rarely in front. But I have a feeling tomorrow is going to be the day. I definitely think, look at 3-1. There is money about for it. Robbie Power had a serious day today. I definitely think he should have a fairly decent day tomorrow as well. And yeah, it should be a Robbie Power double for the first two races, I would imagine so. Next race then, the 225, next best of the day. Put the Kettle on a 3-1. This one here definitely looks to be the best value horse of the day. Getting the mare's allowance, obviously a massive, I suppose, bonus coming into this race. Definitely the Sai, I cannot be having it at 13-8. The way it ran the last time in Cheltenham, I know, look at Philip Hobbs's horses just weren't, I suppose, firing at the festival, but look at, I cannot have it. Simple as that. That's just the way I see it. I definitely think it's there to be shot at, and with all, I suppose, the allowances that Put the Kettle on is going to be getting tomorrow, it's definitely a dangerous game back in Definitely the side tomorrow. Next race then, 3 o'clock, we're going to go in each race out here. Time White at 15-2 looks definitely to be the best value of the day. A very, very comfortable winner in Chepstow last time out. It is going up £11, but it should be well capable of, I suppose, handling that and improving to that standard. The way it won in Chepstow looked like it had plenty in hand, wasn't even leaving third gear. I don't think £11 is going to stop it tomorrow, and it is a serious chance at an each way price tomorrow. Next race then, the 335, the nap of the day. We're going to go third time lucky here for the Skeleton team. Very, very good winner last time out. Obviously, it's the clear, I suppose, in form pick of the day. I honestly think that this horse should be odds on. I cannot see why it's even money or even above. 6-5 looks to be great value. And finally then, 405, we're going to go with We Seek Him here at even money. Again, this one here is a standout horse of the day. Will absolutely love ground conditions. Absolutely hosed up in Galway. In the form of his life. Robbie Power on board for Gordon Elliott. It's really a match made in heaven over in England at the minute. But that's all I'm going to have for tomorrow. Please make sure to, I suppose, keep liking, sharing, subscribing. I hope we had plenty of luck there now today, and I hope you're going to have equally a great day tomorrow as well. Um, what else do I have to say? The I suppose the Irish Racing Hour or the Irish Racing Corner is coming on fairly well now at this stage. We are, I suppose, getting into the business end of things, and we should have this, I suppose, weekly talk show on the go for. We're hoping for the last Sunday in November, so that's very very exciting now over the next couple of weeks. I will start, I suppose, announcing guests coming up to the show, so make sure to keep an eye on the social media side of things then. But until then, take care. The best of luck tomorrow. If you're going to be having a bet, I hope they come in. At the end of the day, I don't think we're going to have quite as good of a day as we did today with the 50-1 third. But yeah, I definitely think we should be able to land a few winners tomorrow and turn it into a very very profitable day. Thanks again for listening. Best luck for tomorrow. Make sure to keep liking, sharing, subscribing. And I'll be back again hopefully tomorrow night.